Today on the CTV News at 5, hundreds of lakeside workers are back to work today in Brooks. Plus, a former Lethbridge investment broker convicted in a Ponzi scheme is granted day parole after serving just 2 years of a 10-year sentence. And it's been dubbed Frankenstorm. Hurricane Sandy is bearing down on the U.S. East Coast, putting tens of millions of people in harm's way.
CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. The production line is running once again at the XL meatpacking plant in Brooks. Its 2,200 employees were retrained last week by the plant's new managers, JBS, an American subsidiary of a massive Brazilian company. The facility got the go-ahead from the Canadian Food Inspection Agency last week to move beef products after it was shut down due to an E. coli outbreak. Workers are thrilled to have an income once again. Now, Bridget Brown is in Brooks today with more on the reaction to the reopening.
Yes, I spoke with workers who are very excited to get back on the job today and very excited to start earning an income again. But they have been laid off since October 14th and they won't get paid for another 2 weeks. So many are still in a very vulnerable position and still really looking forward to that upcoming paycheck. They have been off work for that for almost 2 weeks now. For its part, JBS, the new managers of the plant, also have work to do in restoring public confidence. They have a 6-step plan that they hope will do that, but many consumers say it will take some time before that happens.
Okay, thank you, Bridget. More than 30 witnesses to a Lethbridge nightclub shooting are expected to take the stand in a week-long preliminary inquiry that got underway today. Rage Aberdam, Islo, and Jacob Ali are each facing charges of attempted murder in connection with a shooting at the Studio 54 nightclub back on April the 6th. The Crown will also be introducing video taken by surveillance cameras on the night of the shooting. A 30-year-old Ottawa man was shot on the body during the incident. The inquiry got underway as scheduled today, even though Ali's lawyer suddenly took ill last night. The inquiry is scheduled to last until Friday. And a former Lethbridge investment broker convicted in a Ponzi scheme has been granted day parole after serving just 2 years of a 10-year sentence. 62-year-old Jerry Johnson was originally sent to jail for 13 years in April of 2010. He was found guilty of bilking 64 people, some of those members from his church, out of more than $2.7 million. Through an appeal, Johnson had his sentence reduced to just 10 years. Now Johnson has been granted day parole 3 months early, and he has a shot at full parole next summer. A restitution order has been issued, meaning Johnson's victims can go after him for their money, even if he declares bankruptcy. Dory Rossiter is in with the forecast, and after today, we're looking at some much better temperatures this week.
Yeah, we are, except for one day, Wednesday. Right now, that's a bit of a tussle. It looks like temperatures on Wednesday could be anywhere from 0 to +6, depending on where you are in the Lethbridge region. But other than that, you're right. Temperatures are looking pretty good. I have the 5-day forecast coming up, and focus on Saturday. That's a special day.
Thank you, Dory. Now, meanwhile, weather, fog and freezing rain disrupted flights in southern Alberta and southeastern BC this morning. Flights were cancelled in Lethbridge, Medicine Hat and Castlegar, BC. Officials with the County of Lethbridge say the airport continued to operate normally, but Air Canada elected to cancel its flights because of concern over the weather conditions. Some passengers were forced to miss connecting flights in Calgary. They say it was an inconvenience, but they can understand why it was necessary.
We've been hearing flights are canceled in this area, but all across the country, so you kind of have to just sort of roll with the punches when these types of things happen.
Depending on the weather, of course, the airport is open for business, but it's the pilot's discretion whether they can land or take off from here.
Integra Air says its early flights to Edmonton this morning were delayed by an hour and a half, but service has since returned to normal. Forecasters are calling it the biggest storm to ever hit the U.S.
And I'm hoping that I have a house when I come back.
Hurricane Sandy is now slamming the U.S. eastern seaboard. Emergencies have been declared in 6 states. Tens of thousands of people are being urged to evacuate low-lying areas in New York City and New Jersey. Close to 10,000 flights have been canceled. Mass transit, schools, and U.S. financial markets have been shut down. Upwards of 50 million people are expected to be affected. The monster hurricane is set to merge with a wintry storm from the west and cold air rushing south from the Arctic to become an epic superstorm. Wall Street, New York City schools, and the subway system all will remain closed tomorrow as well.
This is the most catastrophic event that we have faced and been able to plan for in any of our lifetimes.
Before the hurricane even made landfall, it caused massive damage. A construction crane was left dangling off a luxury high-rise in Manhattan after being battered in 150-kilometer-an-hour winds. There is a widespread shortage of water, batteries, and bread. Now, Sandy may have already claimed lives in the U.S. 2 crew members are missing from a Canadian-built tall ship that sank off the coast of North Carolina. The HMS Bounty, made famous in the movies Mutiny on the Bounty and Pirates of the Caribbean, started taking on water last night. Then, early this morning, in a dramatic rescue, the Coast Guard hoisted 14 survivors from lifeboats into helicopters. The ship's captain and a crew member who were swept overboard disappeared. The survivors were taken to a hospital in North Carolina. The Bounty was built in Nova Scotia in 1962. And a sleepless night again for many on the BC coastal islands. Aftershocks continue to hit the Haida-Gwaii region after that massive 7.7 earthquake over the weekend. It's the biggest quake in Canada in decades. This amateur video was taken as the quake hit a wedding reception in Masset, just a few hundred kilometers from the epicenter of the earthquake. Amazingly, damage in the area is minimal, but with strong aftershocks, the biggest measuring 6.3, many are still feeling shaken.
It was scary. Yeah, foundation moving and stuff, it wasn't awesome.
We had to go under a doorway and we were standing there and then it just kept going and kept going. So we're like, okay, we can't stick around here.
The aftershocks are expected to last for several days. Despite tsunami warnings and advisories issued after the quake, the largest wave to hit the area was about 70 centimeters high. Firefighters from across Alberta were in Lethbridge this weekend to share ideas and life-saving technology. The annual Southern Alberta Firefighters Conference was held at the Coast Hotel. The keynote speaker, Alan Bruchny, helped to write many of the codes being used by local firefighters today. Throughout the seminar, fire officials were invited to classroom-style lectures and to see the new technology available to them. Fire officials say the safety measures put in place over the past 6 years have improved their working conditions and safety dramatically.
You know, one of the things we always say about any incident that we go to, life safety is our #1 priority. So that's life safety for us as well as the people we're out there to help.
And the community is coming together to help those who are struggling to make ends meet or living from paycheck to paycheck. About 200 volunteers and 50 support agencies are getting together to put on Project Connect this weekend. It's a place where individuals or families can get counseling, health services, housing outreach or legal advice. Haircuts and even winter clothing will also be available. The event goes from 10 a.m. until 2:30 at the Fritzik Gym. The city is expecting over 400 people to attend.
We are seeing a reduction in the numbers of our homelessness and street population and those kinds of things. And so, but what we are seeing is added people who are willing to come out of the woodwork who are in need of services that weren't able to get them before. And so there's a lot of people that are in need.
Organizers say they're still in need of warm coats, socks, toiletries, and books. Items need to be brought in before Thursday, and there are several drop-off locations, including the Salvation Army and Greer Homes Show Homes. Organizers of a petition in the Crow's Nest Pass are getting together tonight to count signatures and finalize plans for a trip to Edmonton later this week. The Crow's Nest Pass Ratepayers Association began their petition 19 days ago in response to the firing of Blairmore's fire chief and proposed municipal fee increases. Since then, about 60 people have been out gathering signatures. The group is asking the Municipal Affairs Minister to intervene and force Council to reverse some decisions. A delegation will be traveling to Edmonton Thursday to present the petition. The Bank of Canada is educating local retailers about security features in new banknotes. This is a look at the new Canadian $20 bill. It's set to be released into circulation November the 7th. Bank of Canada and Lethbridge regional police officials were at Park Place Shopping Centre this morning to speak to customers and local retailers about the bills. Like the new $50 and $100 bills, the 20 is made of polymer material, which the Bank of Canada says is durable, cost-effective, but most of all secure.
Prevention and education is key for counterfeits. The more the business owners know and the more the cashiers recognize these counterfeits coming in, the greater chance we have at identifying the person who actually passed the bill. Not only passing the bill, but who's making the bill is most important.
You want to reduce your losses. You want to ensure that you can check a banknote. And one of the design philosophies we had with this new banknote for the retail community is that you can identify the key features in just a second. Okay, basically, as soon as the bill is passed to you, you'll be able to feel that it's made of something different than the paper bills from previous generations.
There are currently 800 million $20 bills in circulation in Canada. That's over 50% of banknotes circulated in our country. U.S. financial markets will remain closed for a second day tomorrow because of Hurricane Sandy. It'll be the first time since 1888. The New York Stock Exchange will have been closed for 2 consecutive days because of bad weather.